So we now have an episode to finally dedicate to lawnmower doctrine, and while that might not be an incredibly exciting discussion, but the purpose of these videos is to explain the techniques I'm developing to maintain this massive section. And you will have a chance to see here now how the garden is all just popping now that the mower issue has been addressed, and how the lawnmower is a little bit like jazz music. It's about what's not there. It's about the blank spaces, and this is grand strategy gardening. This is strictly for the cold, hard gamers who love that Prussian and Napoleonic breakdown of military science. This is how we analyze the role of the lawnmower in our complete war plan. You know, I was extremely mad, and you can see for yourself why it became an important mental self-care issue that I just went and bought the new mower, like I have pretty much every year since I got here, because when the lawn looks good and the garden pops, damn, I feel good. But when the whole place is looking shaggy, when otherwise it could be all looking so nice, I get agitated about it, and you know, it makes me unhappy. But we are already learning a lot of lessons here. Most obviously, that I was not prioritizing lawn care in my lifestyle, and my very poor record on lawnmower maintenance was a key weakness that was creating these critical breakdowns. But let's reverse that and look from the opposite perspective that I was quick to recognize in earlier episodes, that once the mower issue was resolved, it would become a non-issue, no longer significant in determining my progress in the game, which means this is basic rudimental stuff. I should have a clear strategic response doctrine in regards to lawn maintenance, of which lawnmower protocols are an established core component. This is what we're doing here. You break down your military strategy according to strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Now we must apply that strategy to the garden, breaking this down as any war historian gamer would. The conditions of modern warfare reflect the conditions of industry and manufacturing by which such lawnmowers are produced and maintenance can be supplied. Logistics, petrol must be supplied, engines must be repaired, and operators must be disciplined in maintenance. And this only reveals the extent of my critical strategic weakness in this area. But at the highest conceptual level of the game, and I love this concept in modern strategy games, is that I don't want to win this game by using mowing and poison, because it can't truly be won that way. At this point in history, the whole game we are playing relies on people like you and me, and what we are prepared to do to get things like petrol and weed killer. The idea of FARMLETQUEST is to play the game that prepares us for a life without petrol and industrial chemicals. But fixing engines and making people put the mower back out of the rain are probably two of my personal biggest weaknesses. And so instantly I see the strategy is really bad from my particular character. My character's bonuses are in economic and analytical bonuses, but definitely not mechanical or persuasive. And with the reality of modern manufacturing that happens mostly in China, the economic processes have been refined to a point. There is no point trying to fix your mower or trying to get them to honour your consumer rights. It is not even worth trying to engage. You just go and buy another mower. You don't buy the Ryobi mower like I did the last 2 years, because the Ryobi is a certain product. It's the big grunty mower that is under $500. This is why I love grand strategy, because it wasn't until these games that it actually sunk in how industrial processes govern so much of reality. Technology is very much more limiting to capitalism than the usefulness of perceptions can be framed in consumer economies to sell products. It's got nothing to do with obsolescence. It's just way easier to make something new than it is to fix something once it's broken. Which is in fact one main reason why you don't buy the Ryobi mower that is grunty and has all kinds of extra bits, which in fact can compound the same fundamental problem as the dinky mower that is half the price. That is, it's not designed to be fixed. And now, narrowing our focus back onto my particular gardening scenario, neither of these mowers is designed for the kind of shit I'm trying to do out here. They are designed for doing backyard lawns, not mowing over a solid quarter acre of foot-high weeds like I did at the beginning of this series. Anyone would say, oh mate, you need a ride-on. Of course I do. But that's just a bigger engine to fix, isn't it? More petrol to use and a larger investment into the consumer economic system that can cause a lot of social problems, as we understand. I've already pointed out in an earlier episode that more mowing actually just means more mowing. The bigger issue here is that my lawn care doctrine is lacking cohesion and vision, because clearly depending on the lawnmower is never going to be enough. Even if I am ready to accept that every year when the thing claps out I just go buy another one, now I'm utterly dependent on feeding my money to the boat that brings the lawnmowers from the factory in China year after year. The solution to this game is not to mow everything, although you can see that what lawns do is so awesome, making everything just pop by creating space. But as I've been subtly prodding it through the series, animals who not only eat grass but actually spend their whole damn day wandering around stamping and scratching the lawn could be huge, but will not replace your need to mow the lawn to get it to really pop. But it starts to reduce the pressure I've been putting on these little machines, which I must, because I am not a mechanic. And this is the strategic conceptual innovation that arises when you break down the gameplay like this. In this episode I pinpointed that my lawn care maintenance doctrine was not being given the proper priority, although I was cool-headed in seeing the longer game is not in mowing, and so grinding on with it. But where the idiot would simply say this is all because my lawnmower is broken, I, a strategic genius no less, could deduce that my mower was broken because my lawn care maintenance doctrine was far too dependent on the heavy burden placed on a crappy little lawnmower. There's overbearance there on a point of strategic weakness, and although a review here seeking to create more expedient protocols to meet our necessities clearly shows I really ought to just buy the cheapest mower and chuck it out when it breaks down, because that is the logical outcome of the current paradigm in manufacturing technology and economic ideology. But in order to reach the higher tier concepts to take you further in this game, your lawn care doctrine must expand to include animals. If you're going to be a contender at the top level of FARMLETQUEST. So there is the key question we once again are squaring up against. All this cardboard, the mowing and poisoning is a solution to any problem in the garden, but it is not going to make you a boss winning in the game. So I'll catch you next episode when we shouldn't have to talk much more about mowing the lawn at all, but furthering really deep and holistic maintenance techniques so we can take it to a higher level on the FARMLETQUEST. How's the lawn care doctrine, guys? Up here with the groundskeeper crew.